Okay, so in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the basics of event-driven programming using our Turtle module. So the big concept behind event-driven programming is that our program is now going to be able to respond to some set of events. So this is very different than our previous programs where we just simply executed some set of instructions and we may have used some particular control structures, a sequence of instructions, maybe we had a decision structure or some sort of repetition structure. But we really didn't respond, or we didn't respond to any particular events. So what do I mean by events? An event could just be a key press, it could be a click on the mouse, it could be a movement of the mouse, it could be some particular sensor that we may have that could pick up maybe motion or sound. So maybe the microphone, whenever I speak into it, could trigger an event that would occur within a particular program. We could imagine having messages sent from one program to another program. So there's a lot of things that could trigger a particular event. Whenever we write a program in an event-driven way, what we need to do is write code that handles these events. And what that means is whenever I click on a particular key or press a particular key on my keyboard, that we have some particular code that execute in association with that particular event. And we call this particular code event handlers. So let's do a quick review of some of the code that we've been using in our previous videos related to the Turtle module. So on this first line here, we're just simply importing the Turtle module. Then we're creating a particular turtle and associating it with this variable t. Here we're actually getting the turtle screen, which is just simply the window that the turtle is going to exist in. And that's associated with this variable ts. So anytime we want to be able to refer to the turtle screen, we just use the variable ts. Here is where we change the shape of our turtle. So originally it doesn't have a turtle shape. It's actually like an arrow. But we changed the shape of it. Here is where we changed the color of our turtle, and here's where we have the background. So if I was to run this code right now, you could see that we have our turtle screen with the black background, and we have a yellow turtle. So what we need to do now is associate certain key presses with certain functions or certain event handlers. And the way that we go about doing that is making use of an operation that's associated with the turtle screen. So we're going to have to say ts dot and invoke a particular method or operation. Method is the more formal name, and I haven't talked about methods yet, but just think of it as an operation that's associated with a particular turtle screen. So we're going to say ts dot on key, and so what this is going to do is it's going to associate a particular function with a key being released, not being pressed, but being released. So it takes two parameters. One of those parameters is going to be the name of our function, which we'll call it move. And the other is going to be a string that's representative of a particular key on our keyboard. So the string space maps up to the space bar. So if we were to press and release the space bar, then what's going to happen, it's going to invoke this particular function, move, that we haven't written yet. So let's go ahead and write that particular function. So we'll say def move. So we're defining the move function here. And we'll say move open paren close paren colon. And it's going to be a very short function. It's just going to take our turtle t and move the turtle forward by some amount. So we'll say that the turtle maybe moves forward 2 pixels every time we press and release the space bar. Now there's one other piece that we have to do before we actually test this out. And that is we have to do this ts.listen, which is another method. And what this is going to do is it's going to listen for certain events, and when those events occur, it's going to map up, depending on what key's been pressed. In our case, we only can perform some particular action based off the space bar being pressed and released, and it's going to do the move operation. It's going to move our turtle forward 2 pixels. So let's run this and see what happens. So if we press and release our spacebar, you can see that our turtle's barely moving. So it's moving 2 pixels at a time, not too fast. And if I press and release real quick, it looks like he's moving more continuously. So that is this particular bit of code here responding to a particular event occurring, in this case, pressing and releasing the spacebar. So if you've done this, you've now done some very basic stuff related to event-driven programming. Let's do some more stuff. So let's go back over here and map up some other keys to some other operations. So maybe we'll say ts.onKey and map up maybe a function called turn left. And we'll map that up to the left arrow key. So I think it's a capital L. I know capital L works. I don't know if lowercase l also maps up to the same thing, but if you want to be for sure, use the capital L like I have here. And we'll define that particular function. So we'll do def and then say turn underscore left, open paren, close paren, colon. And this time what we want to do is just take our turtle T and do a left turn, maybe by 90 degrees. It's really up to you how much you want to turn. You could turn 90, 100 degrees, 45. We're going to turn 90 degrees. So if you wanted to, you could also map up something for the right turn. So we could say TS on key, and then we'll do open paren, turn right this time, and then make sure you map it up to the string right. So that maps up to the right key. So this is the space bar, this is the left arrow key, and this is the right arrow key. And what we can do is just, maybe I'll copy some code here. So copy those two lines and come down a couple of lines, paste that in, and now we just need to change this from turn left to turn right, and we'll do t dot right instead of t dot left. And now we'll run this code and see what happens. So now we can still press the space bar, but we can also use the left arrow key to turn our turtle left, and we can move our turtle once again, and we can use the right arrow key to turn right, and use the space bar and move forward again. So our turtle is moving at a turtle-like pace. So maybe we'll do one other binding between a particular key on our keyboard and a particular function. So for this binding here, we'll say ts.onKey. So I'm thinking the operation that we're going to do in this case is just a spin operation. So we'll just spin our turtle around maybe 360 degrees. So we'll say that the name of the function is going to be spin, and the character or the key that we're going to map that up to is just the S key, which turns out that the string S maps up to the S key in the turtle module. So we'll go and write our function for that. So we'll say def spin, open paren, close paren, colon, and then in here what we're going to do is just a for loop, and we'll say for I in range. So we've seen that before, and we're going to do for as the argument there to range. And that just simply means that we'll do whatever instruction we type here 4 times. And the instruction that we're going to do is just simply do a turn right. So we'll do a turn right by 90 degrees. So if we turn right 90 degrees 4 times, that turns us completely around 360 degrees. So let's go ahead and run that and see how it works. So we have our turtle once again, and if we press S, you can see that he turns completely around 360 degrees, and we can still move forward. We can still turn left. And we can move forward again, turn right, spin around. So our turtle's doing all sorts of cool turtle type activities now that we've done these mappings. And again, this is a huge thing to be able to do event-driven programming, to be able to map up some particular event handlers like we've done here. Let me minimize this and just go back to our code. So we wrote 4 different event handlers, and the binding occurred because we used this on key. So on key was saying anytime that we release, say the space bar, the left arrow key, the right arrow key, or the S key on our keyboard, then we're able to call these event handlers to handle those particular events occurring. So that's pretty much it for this particular video. I think in the next video we'll go in and make improvements on this so we're not having to go in and press and release the space bar every single time we want our turtle just to move forward. Maybe we'll press the space bar and it sets our turtle into motion, and then we can press the space bar again to stop the turtle. So we'll take a look at that in the next video, but that's it for this video.